Yo, it's good, guys. 847 Boys here, and back with another story time. And in today's story time, I'm gonna tell you guys the time I stayed overnight in Target. So, yeah, it's not a crazy story, but it was pretty fun, pretty interesting. So, pretty much, this was my first time ever having like no parents home, and this was back in 2018 or 2017, and around this time, this is when the 24-hour challenges were like really popular. So I used to watch all of these like all the time, and I thought they were pretty interesting, but like I never thought there'd be a day where I could do it. But anyways, I have two people over, and we weren't doing much. We were just chilling in my room playing some Xbox, and my friends were saying they were hungry, and I don't really remember why I didn't have much food at my house, but I was like, okay, let's go out to go get some food. So we were going to go to a restaurant near my house, but they were closed at the time. So then we ended up going to Target, and 'cause they have the little cafeteria. So we went there and we got some mini pizzas, and then as we were eating, I just had the idea. I was like, would you guys be down to do a 24-hour challenge at Target? Like, not obviously 24 hours, but like stay overnight. And they looked at me and they were like, yeah, like I'd be down. So we ended up going back to my house because I live pretty close to the Target, and we ended up getting our bags, our chargers, everything like that, like all the essentials that we needed. And the thing is we at first didn't go to Target. We went to Walmart because my one friend was kind of tweaking out about it because like he was like thinking of all the risk of getting caught and stuff like that in a store that closes. And the Walmart by my house, which I'm pretty sure most of them are, they're 24 hours, like open all the time. So he was like, let's just do it at Walmart to be safe, just in case we get caught. Because if we get caught, then it's like less trouble. We'll probably just get kicked out. And so we went to the Walmart and we started going to the toilet paper section and we started building it. But this Walmart is like very known for doing that stuff. So as we were doing it, of course, an employee came by, was asking what we were doing. We tried to play it off like nothing was going on, but it was pretty obvious what we were doing. So he was like, "You guys can't be doing that. Like, I'm sorry." And he didn't know that we were gonna stay overnight or anything, but he could tell we were building like a fort in the toilet paper section. So then we just abandoned that idea. And so we went out, and then my one friend was like, "How about we just do Target?" And the thing is that he didn't know that it closed at 11 because Target closes, and he thought it was open 24 hours. So I was like, okay, yeah, like why not? Like Target's fine. And so we went over to the toilet paper slash like paper towel aisle, and we tried there, but it was very small. Like Walmart had like a bigger area to do it, and it was just not worth it. It would have been such a terrible idea just because there was not enough space, and literally, if you were like sleeping and you moved over, everything would crash down. So I was like, let's do the baby strollers because like that is what's most known for Target. I've seen a lot of videos where most people do like the baby strollers, and this was also a really good idea. I'll say later why, but it was already pretty much built. Like there was someone in there already because there was a Starbucks cup in there. So I don't know, maybe they just threw it, or but it looked like someone had already built like a pretty good like tunnel size, I guess you could say. But we just pretty much fixed it up a little bit, covered up the cracks, but we didn't really cover up like every single crack until later. But we pretty much finished it up, and we were just walking throughout the store, like making sure we get everything we need. So there was pillows we could get, and then we got like these furry pillows, and then the like furry rugs, and then we wanted to get blankets, but there was literally none that were like out of like a plastic thing or that were concealed by like paper or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna open anything like that because then that's like technically illegal. Like you're ruining the packaging and stuff like that. So I wasn't gonna do any of that. So we just got the rugs and we got the pillows, and we threw that all in there. And then my friends were hungry again. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna like walk back to my house. And around this time, I think it was like 10:30, 10:45. So the store closed in like 20 minutes. And that's another thing. So we go to the Starbucks. There's a Starbucks nearby, and they don't have much food option, but they did have like a chicken panini sandwich or something like that. So I got them both chicken panini sandwich, and I look online just to see like if Target is for sure 24 hours. So I go to check. Come to find out, they close at 11, and I was like kind of in shock because we have like 15 minutes to get back into the Target, and I have to tell my friend this, and we spent like an hour or 30 minutes building everything. So I was like, let's call this kid John. So I'm like, John, they close, and they close at 11, and he looks at me and he's like, like, tell me you're joking right now. And I'm like, I'm not. And I show him my phone, and he's like, bro, like he was kind of upset. But like me and my other friend are looking at him like we spent like so much time on this. Like we're already out of the house. Like my parents think that we're chilling, we're like gonna go to sleep, all this. And so I'm like, bro, come on, like when are we ever gonna have the chance to do this again? And he was kind of pissed off, but he was like, okay, fine, we can do it. And we were all like hyped up, and he was just like, we better not fucking get caught. And I was like, we won't, like we just have to be really careful about everything. So they finish eating, and we walk back into the store, and we go straight to the baby strollers, and we hear on the announcements like, attention shoppers, store is closing in 5 minutes. So they go in, and I'm thinking like I want to make sure everything is sealed so we don't get seen at all. So I still do realize there is some like pretty good cracks that like if someone were to like bend down a little bit, like you could see us. So I just start taking everything that's like boxes really that had to deal with like baby stuff, and I just start covering up every crack. Like it didn't look like just random thrown items were like covering up the cracks. So I did all of that, and then there's like 2 minutes till the store's closing, and across the aisle is like the shoe section, and I just see employee like standing, like looking at the shoes and stuff like this, and my friends are already in because they were like asking like what I was doing, and I was just telling them like I'm making sure everything is concealed, and so he's across, and they're like, bro, get in. I'm like, I can't right now. There's literally an employee across the aisle, and he was there for like a minute, and as soon as he went into, or as soon as he got away from that aisle, I just hopped in there. And then we were all relieved that we're all finally in. And we like set up all the pillows. We're trying to be as quiet as possible. And we all like go to lay down. And I check on my phone, and it's 11 o'clock. So the store had just closed. And you just hear like attention shoppers, like, the store is now closed. Like, please finish up buying and everything like this. And so we're just sitting there, we're waiting, and I'm just thinking in my head, like, how is this gonna work? Like, how is this gonna play out? Like, everything like that. And so we're chilling, and then at around 11:30, we see the lights get dimmed, and I'm like, that's where I finally realize in my head, like, holy shit, like, I'm actually doing this shit. Like, we're actually staying the night. Like, there's no turning back. We can't leave. And so, or at least we could, but it would be super awkward. And so we're laying down, and there wasn't pretty much to it, but we're just all laying down, and it was around 12 o'clock where I stopped hearing people, I stopped hearing things, and then we're pretty much just on our phones, chilling on Snap, going on Instagram, like trying not to make any noise, because at the time we didn't know there's like overnight security or anything, or if anyone's still in the store, so we don't want to make a single noise. And 1 o'clock hits, and I see my one friend's asleep, and I was kind of getting tired. I don't know why I was getting tired so early, but I eventually passed out without even realizing it. And around 2 a.m., I wake up. I wake up scared because I'm like, holy shit, I just fell asleep. And I look to my right, and both of my friends are asleep. And I check my phone. I see it's 2 o'clock, and there was no noise, no nothing. Lights are still dim, but it got freezing cold. And this is why I wish I would have brought a blanket, but I had no clue that they were just going to turn off the heat entirely. But it makes sense. They're trying to save power and electricity. And so it's freezing. I'm guessing it's like 69 or anything lower than that. Was not warm at all, and I'm like shaking, and I'm wearing a coat that's kind of, I don't know the material what it's called, but it's like making loud ass noise when you move. So I'm trying not to move too much, but at the same time I'm like nervous because I just now realized we all fell asleep, and that's not what I was planning to do. I was planning on keeping at least one person awake at all time, and I'm freezing my ass off at the same time. And I just lay down, like I chill out, and I wait till like 2:30, and then I wake my one friend up. I'm like, yo, like we all fell asleep and everything like that. And then again, not much is happening, and around 3 a.m. or like 3:10, I start hearing like this loud noise, and then, like it's like a familiar noise, and I realize it's like the machines that you sit on and you go across the store and it's washing the floors, and I'm like, holy shit, like the janitors are here, because we were wondering like we were hearing the noise and we have no clue like what it is, and so I eventually like I move a box and I peek through the crack and yeah, I see someone on a machine riding around cleaning the floors. I'm like, okay, the janitors are here. And at this time, I definitely can't sleep because I just hear throughout the whole store this like loud buzzing noise. And so I'm just sitting on my phone, like we're all awake again. Uh, and then nothing much was really happening. I was kind of freaked out that there's people in the store. And then one of my friends goes back to sleep, and then my other's like, okay, I think I'm gonna go to sleep too. Girl, I'm still awake because I'm not planning on all of us being asleep. Because my worst fear was all of us falling asleep and then waking up to like cops or employees just staring us down. So come around 4 o'clock, now I start hearing like just loud noises, like things being moved, and I look again and I see people in red shirts and I'm like, okay, this is the Target employees, and I did not suspect like any employees would be or the janitors would be here such early in the morning because the store reopens at 8 a.m. And so this is the part where I'm really freaking out because like the janitor, there was probably one or two people, and these aren't really employees. So yeah, they would probably care if we were in the store, but I don't think they would care that much. But now I'm starting to realize there's employees. So again, I'm shaking even more because again it's freezing cold and I just have so much adrenaline rushing through me. And uh just pretty much nothing really happened, thankfully. Um, they were just walking around, like I keep waking my one friend up, and then around like 6 or 7 a.m., my one friend was just dead tired. So he starts snoring, and I'm like, this is not what we need. So I have my one friend who's in the middle that was like I could just wake up instantly, and then I had my other friend that was like the one snoring who was passed out all the way to the right. So pretty much literally every time my friend started snoring loud, I'd ask my one friend John, I'd be like, John, smack uh let's call him Lucas. I say smack Lucas. And so he would smack him and then he'd be like, bro, like he'd be pissed. He'd be like, what do you want? I'm really like, dude, you're snoring, like that you're loud. And so he kept doing that all throughout the pretty much the rest of the night. But the one close time that we almost got caught is one employee walks by the baby strollers and my friend just snores. Like it wasn't super loud, it wasn't like quiet, but it was like a decent snore. And I was scared shitless. I cover my eyes, just hoping nothing happens. And I reopen my eyes and I just see the employee walk by and I tell my one friend John, and then he smacks him. And he's like, "Bro, you just fucking snored so loud. Like it wasn't super loud, but it was like it was. The person could have heard it. Now, maybe the employee had headphones in. I honestly don't know how they didn't hear it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had like headphones in while they're restocking. And then that was pretty much it. But it was around like 7 o'clock where I had to pee so bad because I drank like so much water like the night, I guess you could say during the night or before like we went in the Target. And I had to hold in my piss for so long. And at 8 o'clock, the store opened. But I was like, we can't just go out yet. Like, that's so weird. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. But I was thinking 8:10, and that's when we did go out. But even I thought that was still kind of like sketched out. But surprisingly enough, there was a good amount of people in the store and so I was like, wow, I'm surprised. So we get out and I just run straight to the bathroom. I go to take a piss. We all go take pisses. And that was pretty much the end of the night. Um, After that, we just made sure we had everything. We got everything out of the fort. We put all the boxes that covered the cracks back. We put all the pillows, the rugs back. And because we didn't want to leave a mess or anything like that. And so that was pretty much it. And then we rode our bikes to Target the before we got in. And so we had our that was another thing. I was just hoping like no one was gonna ask like why is there two bikes out here? But we had them on the bike locks, unlocked our bikes, and then we rode back to my house. And that was pretty much the end of the story. And my friends ended up going home and I just hopped on Xbox and played Xbox with them the pretty much the whole day. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of the story. Moral of the story is though, I would not do that because the risk of doing that is getting like lots of fines and probably being banned from Target, especially because my plan was if we did get caught, we run out of the emergency exit, which was what such a stupid idea because I've seen people who have done that and they got fines and citations and they gotten banned from Target and that just would have set off the whole alarm throughout the store. The police would have showed up and it just would have been a terrible experience. They would have saw us on the cameras, but anyways, yeah, just don't do that. It's not worth the risk. I did have fun. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story. Hope you guys enjoy and I'll see you guys in the next story. Peace out.